Okay, so today is our second day of Belizean studies for this week, and I know that a lot of you have this big question about the exchange program that I have uploaded in Google Classroom, and I want to explain that and I want to clarify your questions. So if you have questions, guys, this is the time to ask your questions. Because this is what we will be working with this other group of students for the rest of the cycle. So that means like about until January, we're gonna be working with these other students. Now, I have done exchange programs before with my math classes last school year. I did these programs with where I had other teachers from different parts of the world teach my math students, and I taught them, and we did classes together where two teachers taught at the same time, and we had these students in class. Now, this program is being implemented by EduDeo. If those of you who know who EduDeo is, the organization, this is something that they are planning and they have done before with. I'm not sure if it was um third form last year or second form last. I'm not sure with which groups they did it before, but now they wish to do it with us, which is the second form Belizean studies group. I already have an idea of what is going to be happening. And if you guys have taken a look at Google Classroom and what I have posted in the exchange program section, it has that we will be having a meeting next week, Tuesday on November 23rd at 11 o'clock. Now, what does that mean? That you guys will not be having your regular classes. You guys will be in that program instead. So whatever class you have at 11 o'clock will be shifted, or will be what I'm not really sure what administration will be doing, but you will not be joining your regular scheduled class. You will be in that meeting on that day. Is it clear? Everybody has that clear? Yes.
Yes.
Is that for every week, miss?
Okay, no. This is only going to be for next week Tuesday, because it is our introductory program. I mean, it's an introductory session. So this is where all of you guys will be meeting all of the um, other 10th grade class, because I don't want to give too much details because I will be spoiling the event on that day. So I have to be careful with what I say. But that day you're going to be meeting the other group of students, you're going to be meeting the other teacher, you're going to be meeting Miss Lori from Edudeo, who will be giving her welcome and explaining a little bit of what it is that we want to do. We will be having some activities for you guys to do during that time. It should be approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour, um, the time that we should be together for that session. So I know that 11 o'clock is halfway through one of the periods. I think it's period 5 if I'm not mistaken. So we will probably be there from 11 to 12, a little bit before 12. That is the scheduled time that we have. So whatever classes you have during those two times on Tuesday of next week, you will not be having those, but it will only be for next week for now, because we still want to see if it's possible for us to do another one because of the time difference and all of those aspects that we have to consider. So everybody has that clear? Yes? Now, if you have questions, guys, make sure you ask your questions, right? Because that this is a time to be asking questions. Let me see the Google Classroom and share. Let's have instead. Okay, so what I have here posted is the student exchange program, and you have the introductory meeting. The Zoom link is here. It's 11 o'clock, and all the details are there. So make sure that you guys are on time. For the student video exchange PAL, This is the first assignment that we'll be working on. It is graded. I am giving 50 points for the submission of this video. When I upload the assignments for next week, and those of you that are packaged, when you get your package for next week, you will see that there are 3 assignments that will be assigned to you guys. The 2 that are for Belizean studies that will have to do with our content, and then this other video that is your introductory video. We will be sending a video first because this group of students would like to learn about Belize, and would also like, in the process of learning about Belize, practicing their Spanish speaking skills because they are from a non-Spanish speaking country. And the teacher that is there is the Spanish teacher, and she would like assistance in through this exchange program for her students to be actively practicing their Spanish language. So now when it comes to the exchange program, and then I have you guys were randomly assigned. So let's see this one. If you guys have taken a look at this document, even the package groups are here. So because the other group is smaller than our group, because Belizean Studies has I think it's 30 students online, and they have 17 in package, so it's, I would say, between 45 and 50 students, while the other group only has 21 students. Therefore, all of the Belizean students, for example, these two, Oceani and Eslin, will be preparing a video that will be viewed by Zen. And then when he replies, the reply will be received by both of these students, because both of them sent a video to this student. Your video does not have to say hello Zen, hello Savannah, hello Omar. Does not have to say the name of the person. You can just be general, because there are some names here that, to be honest, me myself, I do not know how they are said, you pronounce these names. Um, for example, this one, and I don't want to be pronouncing names incorrectly. So on the day of the program, when we have our introductory class, you guys will be able to meet and um, hear these students talk a little bit about themselves, and you guys will be talking a little bit about yourselves too. Right? So it's just, this document is just for you guys to know who you are being partnered up with, who your video will be viewed by, and whose video you will be seeing. So when Ephraim sends his video to Leah, Leah will be watching the video, and she will be replying to Ephraim and to Jaima. And that is how the exchange will be happening. Yes? Everybody has that clear?
Yes, miss.
Any questions so far? This is the time for you to ask your questions about the assignment. Like I said, I will be posting more details in the package for next week and in the activities I will be uploading next week. If you guys would like me to explain that, let me open my package for next week. You guys can see it one time. Sharing this one to Google Meet. Okay. So this is the package students, this is what you'll be getting. The online students, this is what I will be uploading. You will have your regular assignment number 1, your assignment number 2, and then you have this other one that says student video pal exchange program. In this video, you are going to be doing a video recording. Please, last time that I assigned you guys to do a video recording, some of you just sent me a voice recording. Some of you just sent me a video with a black screen and I could just hear your voice. This is not what you want. We are sending these videos to somebody that is outside of the country, somebody that will be talking with you and interacting with you for November, December, and January. And you have to, I know that it might be a little bit out of your comfort zone, but we would like to give these students a good impression. I don't think that's the correct words that I want to use, but If you will be interacting and you will be talking to these persons for the next 3 months, they will be doing a video and they will be sending it to you as well. It shows good on your behalf to do a video, right? Dress appropriately. You don't have to be in uniform, guys, because they will not be in uniform. So just do a video. Be comfortable in making your video. All you're doing is talking about yourself. The little twist to the video, though, let me, and as I said in the video, you can talk about your basic information like my name, age, birthday, address, etc., your family. You can talk about your, if you live with your parents, your grandmother lives with you, how many brothers and sisters you have. If you have pets, you can say this is your pet. Where do you live, the name of your village, the name of your town, what are your favorite things to do or to eat, where do you like to go. You can talk about school and any other thing that you find interesting. And the video might be a little lengthy. I would say maybe no more than 3 minutes, because 3 minutes is a lot if you think about it. Talking for 3 minutes is going to be a lot of time. But why I'm saying no more than 3 minutes is because you need to do the video recording in both Spanish and in English. So whatever you guys are going to be talking about yourselves, you're going to be saying it in Spanish, and then you're going to be saying everything that you said in Spanish in English. It doesn't matter, it's okay. You can have it written down on a paper and you can read from your paper. That is completely fine, because more than likely these students will be doing the same thing, because they're going to be practicing their Spanish. So they're not 100% Spanish speakers, and that's why your video will be in Spanish first, and then you repeat what you said in Spanish in English. So that's why your video might be a little longer. Is everybody clear with that?
Miss,
Yes.
is it 3 minutes for each language or 3 minutes for both of the languages?
3 minutes for everything. So
Okay.
you can talk about yourself maybe like for 1 minute, 1 minute and a half, and then you can give a little pause and then you repeat what you said in English. So in total, that's what I'm saying. Total, no more than 3 minutes, because 3 minutes is a lot of time. I'm pretty sure when you guys are doing your celebration of learning, you were kind of thinking, what are you gonna say for 3 minutes? Because it's a lot of time, to be honest. So 3 minutes for Spanish and English together in one video. And then I have an example for you guys, how you guys can begin. I did one about myself and I repeated in English. This is not, and you see the ellipsis at the back. That's because the ellipsis means that this is continuous. That's not all that, the introduction would say. You talk a little bit about yourselves, tell them about yourself so that they can get to know you. And then when you get a reply, then they can also reply to you as well. And it will be good, guys, if you can say, for example, I don't have it here. When I say tengo 25 años y vivo en Coros, no, this should be Alton. Sorry. Aquí en Belize, and then you can ask, ¿a dónde vives tú? O ¿cómo te llamas tú? O ¿cuántos años tienes tú? And you can ask them so that when they are answering back your video, now they can reply to your question. So it's always good to have like a conversation in your video, because you want to help them talk Spanish as well and practice their Spanish. So if you guys ask them a question or two along the way, I'm gonna fix this example so you guys have a better idea. But this is what I did when I was doing my package. But I'm gonna be editing this so you have a better example of what you can be saying in your video. Is that clear, guys? Anybody has any other questions in regards to the video introduction?
No, miss.
And then I have it here. This will be due on November 23rd. And this 23rd, I think it's the Tuesday, the same Tuesday. And this
Next
is,
next week.
yeah. So you guys can work on this video over the weekend. You don't have to wait until Monday when I post the document. You guys can work on it right now, and well, over the weekend, sorry. And you can take your time and think about what you want to do. But this will be sent in on Tuesday, because I would have to send it to the teacher, and her students will have to view it. So we might not get a reply. I would say about in 2 weeks time we will be getting a reply, so that the students can, everybody can watch your videos for all of you, and then they can make their video and send it back to us. right? But this is how we are going to be working with it. And then when they send back their videos, we are going to be replying to that and send another video. So, does it sound okay? Doable? Are you guys understanding what I'm asking you guys to do?
Miss, and how about your
Yes.
partner that you will work with?
What about your partner? Um, I'm not getting your question clearly. Is it how you will communicate with them? Is that your question?
Yes, Miss, how we will communicate with our partner that we will do this?
Okay.
Is it the video?
Yeah. So for now, you guys will only be working on your video. When you guys meet on Tuesday, we will be putting you guys into groups, and so groups with mixed students. From Belizean studies students in that Spanish class. And you guys can talk and get to know each other. If you want to share your information to communicate with each other, that's up to you. But for now, our communication will be sending a video and they reply with a video and we send another video. And then we will be scheduling another virtual session where all of us are there again. But we don't have a date for that as well because we want to see how the first video exchange will go, and then from there we can solidify the rest of our plan. Yes. Does that clarify your question?
Yes, Miss. Thank you.
Okay, good. So if there are no more questions, we can move on. Anybody has any questions with the assignments that I assigned for this week? The two assignments that are due tomorrow: learning activity 1 and learning activity 2. Anybody has any questions with those?
Yes, could you explain the activity progress?
Activity 2 or both?
Yes, yes.
Activity 2? Okay. Activity 2, right here. The activity 2 has two sections, right? So first you would have to do the Jamboard. In the Jamboard, let me share this tab. In the Jamboard, it asks you guys to color code Maya, Aztecs, and Inca region. And then at the bottom, it gives you the color key. So you're going to be looking at this map, and wherever the Mayas used to live, that is what you're going to be coloring blue. Wherever the Aztecs lived, you're going to be coloring red, and then it has the option with the pen and the different colors. So you can choose your color and your marker or the paintbrush or whatever, and then you can just color the area that the Maya, the Aztecs, and the Incas live. Blue, red, and green, and then you have those colors here. Once you have finished with this, you can just close it because it automatically saves the work that you did. And this is the first part. Now the second part that is attached in the assignment is basically what you're going to be doing here is typing one word answers. So for example, who was at the top of the social hierarchy? Was it a king? Was it a queen? Was it a prince? Whatever it might be. Was it a priest? Was it a god? Who was at the top of the hierarchy? And in most of these cases, it's gonna be a king, king, king. It's either a king or a royal. And then at the last column, it says, are they similar? Were the three of them the same answer? Yes or no? Who was at the bottom of the social hierarchy? In most cases, it's gonna be slave. So you type the word slave, and these are just gonna be one word answers. So I don't want you guys to be writing a whole paragraph explaining to me why the
Just one
king.
word.
Just one word, yes, one word answers. And then once you have your three one word answers, at the last column, you type, are they all the same? Yes or no. And that's all. And you're going to be doing this for all of the questions that I have here. One word answers, and then are they the same? Yes or no. Is that clear?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, good. And
Yes, yes.
okay. And then activity and for the other work. Okay. The other one, learning activity 1, Mm, okay, let me check if you guys can see that. Okay, learning activity 1, it says armor of God, and I have an example of what you will have to do. Now, for this one, you can go online and you can type in Maya warrior, Aztec warrior, Inca warrior, and you can get a pre-made image already with them in their warrior suit or their armor, whatever it is that you would use, and then you can just label that. Or you can go ahead and you can draw one, or you can make one. This assignment is very open and I have it here in the instructions. You can either draw a warrior with the armor or you can get an image of one. And if you go online to Google, you have a lot of already pre-made images. You can find a female Maya warrior or a male Maya warrior, and then the image pops up already. And what I want you guys to do is that you are going to be labeling at least 4 pieces of armor. You can do more than the 4 of them if you want, but I don't want anything less than 4 of them. And if the Maya had, I don't know, their armor, they had their sandals, or they had their spear, or whatever they had in the costume that you guys found. I'm sorry about the background noise. But if you find one already like that, and you just find 4 pieces of the clothing that they have, and you label those 4 things, and this is where you use your creativity. You could say their spear of, I don't know, bravery or courage or whatever, and then you just write the description. Why did you name it that way? One sentence. You invent a name, you write a description as to why you chose that name, and then that's it. Um, does that answer your question? Is it clear? Okay, good. Now, I'm looking at the time and we have about 15-20 minutes. I did attach videos of the Incas and the Aztecs. If you guys would like to watch videos, or if you have already read the content is very straightforward. The content, I gave you guys the image of the table, and it has the differences, similarities between each of these 3 empires. Last class, we did take a very close look at the Olmec, because I'm pretty sure you guys had, most of you that were not familiar with who the Olmec were. So today I'm just gonna do the Mayas, and hopefully we have enough time to finish the Mayas. If not, the PowerPoint is there at the end of the divisions of the Mayas that I have for the video. It has the video on the Incas and it has the video on the Aztecs. If you would like to learn more about them, you can sit down and watch the videos. The videos are a little bit over 11 minutes, I would say, because they're quite long. And the way that how I'm presenting it, I just cut it into pieces because it just has everything in one big video. All right. So, is it okay if I continue, or does somebody need more clarification questions? Can I continue, guys? Do you understand?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, yes, miss.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Mayas, and we're gonna start off with the introductory video. So let me know if you guys can hear it. Okay.
Yes, okay, we are talking about the Maya now. We know much more about the Maya than the Olmec because the Maya civilization lasted longer. We also know a lot less than we could because when the Spanish arrived, they were in search of gold, which the Maya used to make some of its crafts. The Maya considered jade to be more valuable than gold and used cacao or cocoa beans as money. So many artifacts that could tell us more about the Maya were melted down to make gold coins, and many of their books were burned.
Okay. So we might think, and as the video said, we might think that we know a lot about the Mayas, and we do know quite a lot of information about them, but we don't know everything. And the reason was because when the Spanish conquistadors came, and we're going to be looking at the European colonization next week. What happened to the Mayas, to the Incas, and to the Aztecs when the Europeans came, and specifically when the Spaniards came? And one of the things that affected the Maya history and the history that we know of the Mayas is that the Mayas would not only carve their information or their history on stone, but they would do it on gold, because for gold for them was just like a rock, a regular rock. For them, jade had more importance. Jade was more valuable. And even though jade might not be as valuable as gold today, for them it was. So their gold was just used, it was used like a basic rock where they would carve their information and their history on it, and they would just store it. And then jade would be something more valuable that kings and the priests, high priests, and all of these royalties would wear. And then now, when the Spanish conquistadors came, they melted all of their gold, because for them gold was valuable, gold was money, and they melted the gold, and they manufactured more gold coins for them to use and for them to take back to Europe. And this is one of the major reasons why we don't have all the information we wish we had to know about the Mayas. Everything that we know is just basics, what was there written on the regular stones under the scrolls where they would write their history on. So let's continue.
Began in and around the Yucatan Peninsula around 2000 BCE in modern Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. Grand step pyramids and ball courts are still around today in many Maya cities. The Maya were great mathematicians and astronomers. Many of the pyramids they built to line up with movements of different planets or the sun and moon. Pyramids were first built around 100 BCE and could be up to almost 1,400 feet high, or over 140 meters. Some were monuments to gods. Others were tombs for kings. City centers had palaces, temples, along with pyramids, and Maya cities were connected by roads they built. Maya cities even competed against each other in their ballgame courts.
Okay, so now the ball game was something that we heard of in the Olmecs as well. And in the time when the Olmec Empire ruled and the Maya Empire ruled, it was very similar in time, in the timeline. The Maya started a little bit before the Olmecs and lasted longer after the Olmecs. So the Olmec period was in between the Maya period. So the Olmecs and the Maya had a lot of influence on each other, and you might see similarities between the Maya and the Olmec. And one of them was for the ball game. And right now in the following video, we're gonna no, sorry. Right now, as we continue seeing the videos of the Mayas, then we're gonna be understanding the relationship and the several similarities that are between the Olmecs and the Mayas, because the ball game was only one of the reasons. So let's continue.
Ball game was a very popular sport throughout Mesoamerica. Every Maya city had a ball game court built from stone. These giant courts had lots of flat space for play, hoops also made from stone, and seating for kings and the people. The rules varied and changed with time, and rubber balls found were different sizes. But carvings show people playing this game using their hips and torso to hit the ball into the hoop. These games could be played for fun, but sometimes had a religious meaning, or were even used to resolve disputes between city-states.
So now here in the ball game, and I know that you might have heard before that when there was a ball game and the winners would be sacrificed for the gods because it was a blessing to have them sacrificed. But that was not necessarily true for all ball games. Ball games was instead of having a war like a civil war between two Maya cities, they would resolve their disputes using a ball game, and they would have their best players compete against each other, and then whichever team won, then that was the city that won the dispute that they had. So the Maya were a very civilized or race compared to people that were different people that were living at that time around the world, where as soon as they had a fight, okay, let's war, let's kill each other, let's go into a battle. The Maya were very civilized people than them, and the ball game was just one of the ways how they would settle their disputes with other cities. Now, the ball game also had religious meaning to it, meaning that yes, whenever they would worship or when it was time to praise or worship a god, they would use the ball game as a symbol of um, adoration for the god that they were paying their respects to at that time. But there is in some Maya cities, it was recorded in their history that the winners or whichever part the team that won or the team that lost would have been sacrificed for that specific religious ceremony. But it's not something that was practiced so very often. Imagine killing, I don't know how many players, a dozen players at a time. It wasn't really something that was practiced. So, anybody has any questions up to now? Or do I continue? Yes, continue. No, continue.
Yes, miss.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
The Maya also created one of the earliest solar calendars that has 365 days in a year. It also has longer measurements of time. A Katoon, which is almost 20 years, a Baktoon, which is almost 395 years, and a Pictoon that is 7,885 years. The most recent Pictoon ended in 2012, which caused some people to wrongly believe, well, it's a long story.
Okay. Okay. So, the Pictoon that ended in 2012, I'm not sure if you guys remember that time. I was in first form in 2012. And I remember in December, it was December 21st, 2012, that when this calendar was to end. And at that time, people were thinking it's the end of the world. The world is going to come to an end because they believe, the Maya had proven themselves so much that they were very intelligent. And now, with the ending of this calendar coming to an end, people had so many different thoughts about what it would be. And a large portion of these people thought that when this calendar ended, that means the world was coming to an end. So when the day December 21st, 2021 came, so many people went to this Maruin I forgot the name of this Maruin, but this Maruin, and if you search up the images of this date online, you would see that this Maya temple was filled with people. There were so many people there because they wanted to witness what was going to happen on that day. And then nothing happened. The world didn't come to an end, and nothing happened. Nothing at all happened on that day. Because for the Mayas, the calendar just reached the end of the cycle. Just like the other calendars, after 365 days, it reached the end of the cycle, it started again. So this Picton, when it ended after the 7,000 and odd years, it just started again. And we are already, 2012, 2021, like 9, almost 10 years past that. and it's been 10 years into the Picton. But it's just the ending of that calendar cycle. Does it didn't really mean, even though people were all, it was a disaster back then when people were looking at um the end of the world because it was the end of this calendar. But it wasn't that way. Okay, so let's continue.
Maya cities had temples and palaces at their centers, and homes and crops surrounding them. The ancient Maya farmed foods such as tomato, chili peppers, cacao, avocado, guava, papaya, pineapple, pumpkin, sweet potato, and their most important crop was maize. All of those foods originally came from the Americas and influence some of our favorite foods today.
So now, if we realize when we talked about the Olmec, most of these crops were what the Olmecs also grew. Now, why did this person say that these came from the Americas? Oh, sorry about that. Now, if we realize most of these crops came from, or also similar to the ones the Olmecs were growing, and the reason for this is because the Mayas and the Olmecs were very close to each other. They were in the same region practically. But in this video, what the person mentioned is that they came from the Americas. Most of these crops were brought from North America and brought down into Central America, and when the Spanish conquistadors came, it was the first time some of them were seeing a pineapple. First time some of them were seeing a lot of these crops, because in Europe they don't grow these crops, or these crops do not grow there. Like when you had the Europeans coming into the islands and they reached Jamaica and they saw bananas, bananas was like first time they saw banana. So when they came and they were colonizing Europe, all of these crops were basically new to them. They were crops that are only found in America and grown in America. So apart from taking gold back to Europe, all of these crops were taken back because, first time they were seeing some of these crops, and seeing a pineapple, seeing a banana was extraordinary things for these Europeans because they did not know what they were. And if we take a look at these crops, almost all of these crops are crops that we still grow and we still eat today. And our question may be, how did the Mayas know that you can eat it or you can't eat it? Or was it like trial and error? Have you guys ever thought about that? Like, how did they know that they can eat certain berries and not eat other berries? How did they know to peel a pineapple before eating the pineapple? Um, or how do you know that out of corn they grind the corn and they make tortillas out of it? How did they know all of these things? Because we didn't come up with those things. We like, you go and you want to buy corn tortillas, you go to the factory, and then the factory has the machines that make it. But back then in the Maya's time and the Olmec's time and the Incas and the Aztecs, none of those things existed. So how were they, was it like they were so smart that they looked at the pineapple and they're like, okay, I have to peel it before I eat it? Or was it like trial and error? Did they eat different parts of the pineapple and then decide, this is the part that I can eat and this is the part that I cannot eat? Right? And those are things that we haven't thought really, and we don't sit down and ask. These are things that we just assume and say, like, okay, we can eat it. And that's it. All right? So let's continue.
The Maya lived in city-states. Each state was independent and they were all united by a common culture. Each city-state was ruled by its king. The Maya believed that their king was divine, communicated with the gods, and was given the right to rule by those gods. The position of king was usually the oldest son of the last king, but there are also many cases of women rulers. Royalty wore large, elaborate headdresses and clothing with jewels and jade sewn to them.
Okay, so this is the last one that we're gonna be doing because I'm looking at the time. If you guys want to continue watching, because I think after this we talk about the Maya court. The Mayas had their court and they had like judges and all of these things and the punishment that was given to them. And after this, the Maya beauty. So you guys can continue watching the videos because I'm looking at the time and I don't want to keep you after your time. But the video that we saw just now was very straightforward, talking about the rulers. In most cases, it was always a king, and when the king would die, it was his oldest son that would take over. But in some cases, some rare cases, there was the where the king would die, and then there was no son. The king didn't have any sons; he only had daughters. So there was no other option but to make the daughter, the oldest daughter, be the ruler of that time. And then now coming to the issue where if the daughter was a ruler and then she ended up getting married, did her husband rule? No. It was the daughter because it had to be of the bloodline. Unless that woman got married and had children, then yes, her children will be able to rule, but the husband had no say. The woman was the one who ruled at that time. Um, so the Mayas were very, very strict when it came to who would rule because they believed that their blood was sacred. It was sacred blood because supposedly they believed that they could talk to their gods, and if they wanted to talk to the corn god or to the rain god or the god of the sun, the Maya king had that ability to talk with them. And when we talk about that ability to talk with them, if we go ahead and we research a little bit more about it and we want to learn about the Maya culture, they basically would drug themselves and hallucinate these things. And in their hallucination, they would be seeing these gods. Now, if you guys know how drug addictions and hallucinating when drugs happen, all of these things, you hallucinate what you want to see. And so therefore when these gods would hallucinate, when these kings would hallucinate the gods, it was because they wanted to, they had that in mind. I'm gonna talk to the god right now. So when they were high on these drugs or on these herbs that they would be smoking in the room where they were and inhaling all of those things, they were hallucinating the gods, and in their mind they were talking to the gods. And supposedly only the kings had that ability to be able to talk to the gods, and that's why they were kings. So the video, guys, the rest of the video is here. Let me show you guys. Right here. This one was about the courts. This one was about the Maya beauty. You guys can take a look at those things. What was beauty for them? And then it has the Aztecs and the video on the Incas. Anybody has any questions? If there are no questions,
No, miss.
No, no, no.
okay, guys. So you guys are free to leave. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Have fun, but be responsible and send your assignments. Okay.
Bye, miss.
Bye.
Okay, miss. Bye, miss.
Bye.
Bye, Miss.
Bye, Manol.